Would like to begin by welcoming everyone here tonight to the October 1st, 2019 meeting of the Pike County Fiscal Court. We do not have an overly long agenda, but I would like to begin by reminding everyone to turn their cell phones off. We have a very special guest here that we're going to bring up, and we're going to go a little bit outside of the normal order because Mr. Little has a class in the morning, and we're going to take care of his business after we hear from Representative Angie Hatton. So with that being said, I'd like to ask Mr. William Spears if he would say the invocation for us.
Let us pray. Father, we come to you seeking your guidance, Lord, for the decisions to be made here today, Lord. We pray that, Lord, they will follow your lead and follow your will, and for the betterment of this county, its citizens, and its workers, Lord. We ask it all in the precious name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Judge Jones?
Present.
Commissioner Robertson? Here. Commissioner Tackett?
Here.
Commissioner Booth?
Here.
We have a quorum, and we are ready to proceed. And I'd like to ask Representative Angie Hatton to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The next item is the approval of the minutes of September 17, 2019 meeting. Is there a motion? Motion. We have a motion by Commissioner Robertson. Is there a second? Second. We have a second by Commissioner Booth. Is there any question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson?
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett?
Yes.
Commissioner Booth?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes. And I'll go ahead and hand the signed minutes to the clerk. Well, before we begin, I would like to ask Mr. Fabian Little. Fabian, would you like to go ahead and do your business so that way you can get on the road? All right. Come on. And we're going to take the Pike County Road Supervisor's report and approval of the Pike County Commissioner's recommended road maintenance. And I saw you talking to my good friend, Mr. Bevins, back there. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
Irma, did you get a chance to talk to Mr. Little? Okay. Did you take care of Irma? I think the big issue on that was simply the fact we didn't have the money to finish that, the paving on your holler. And go ahead, Fabian.
I had explained to him back there that, you know, that next year we would be able to catch that up. But this year that was just all the money that we had to put in there. And, you know, I hate that it worked out the way that it did, but that's all we had. We stretched it as far as we could.
Irma, we've got such a small amount of money. If you want to come on up, we've got such a small amount of money for blacktopping. We're just trying to take care of the worst roads. We're nowhere near with the amount of money that we need to take care of these roads. It's, Fabian, what we're probably looking at less than, what will be the total with the flex and the budget for the whole county?
Shoot, Frankie, you may have to help me there. The flex itself was like 62,000 per area. So, you know, that's actually, you just got about a mile of road per area. And then with our regular budget, you're looking at maybe another mile and a half, probably another mile and a half. So with our budget and the flex, you're only going to get 2 mile and a half. So, you know, with 1,500, 1,200 mile of road, you know, it doesn't go very far.
So Irma, what he was saying is we're only going to have about money for 3 to 4 miles of new pavement. And what we're trying to do is, you know, fix the worst spots, patch where it needs to be, pave where we can, but we have nowhere near the money. And with the coal severance tax declining at the rate it is, that's probably not going to get better anytime soon. Irma, you can have a seat right here. Irma, you have a seat right there. I don't want to see, leave.
It was blacktop 23 or 24 years ago. Rodney King was magistrate. After Rodney went out, Leo Murphy never did do nothing in there. He come one time up to Bill Ramey's where they stopped this time. Sprayed the road with tar and spread a few gravel on it. Come a big rainstorm that night and washed most of it off.
Well, Irma, here's what, I'm sorry, go ahead.
He come up there about 2 months ago and patched the potholes up to Bill Ramey's. Turned around and left. Then last week, he come up there and blacktopped the road up to Bill Ramey's and left.
Well, I don't know, Mr. Ramey, but we've basically got such a little amount of money that we're letting the commissioners and the road supervisor determine which ones are the worst. But it's something we'll try to take care of next year if we can get the money to do it. And that's why we've been begging the governor and everybody else in Frankfort we can to try to get money for these roads. And that's why we need to finish this, because we've got State Representative Angie Hatton back here, and I'm going to hit her up for some money here in just a minute.
Who's going to pay for paving that road down there by Fish Trap Lake or Mouth of Grapevine? I seen in the paper or something that it was going to blacktop that.
That money was state money that was done back during the Rutherford administration was when that was approved. And I think that was $2.5 million of state money, Jimmy, is that right? It was grant money.
Grant project. Part of that grant was to be able to finish that road out of pond.
Yeah, so that was not out of the county's funds. So that was why that was done the way it was.
I didn't know who was going to pay for it, but I seen where they was going to blacktop that, and
That's the,
really it's not that bad. There's no potholes in it.
well, I think you're talking about the new road?
That's what, yeah, that was a new section of road.
That was a brand-new road, Irma.
It was a new section of road that they cut through from Pompey into Fish Trap.
Irma, we've got a,
Down the mountain.
Yeah.
Irma, if you want to wait till the break, I'll be happy to talk to you, but we need to get through this docket real quick. I just didn't want to leave you sitting here, but I'll be happy if you want to wait till the break to talk to you. But he's got to get on the road, and I wanted to make sure you had an opportunity to speak to him before he left, okay?
Well, I thank you for your time and.
Hey, Irma, if you just have a seat back there, I'll be with you as soon as we take a break here, okay?
You what?
I'll talk to you as soon as we take a break.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Mr. Little, please proceed, sir.
I have a maintenance agreement, and it would be with Blue Flame Energy that I would like the court to look at and maybe enter into. Basically what it is Blue Flame contacted me, and they want to run their gas line down beside the ditch line. And they have agreed to repair any damages to the county road that may happen by them doing this.
And did they prepare this agreement?
We prepared. Kevin drew it up, and then we prepared it with them.
Okay, so we're good to go.
Yeah.
Is there a motion to approve the maintenance agreement between the Pike County Fiscal Court and Blue Flame Energy for installing a gas line and ditch line in the vicinity of Mill Branch on Elkhorn Creek Road number 5875?
Motion.
We have a motion by Commissioner Tackett. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second by Commissioner Booth. Is there any question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson?
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett?
Yes.
Commissioner Booth?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes.
Oh,
Mr. Little?
one other thing that I'd like to just say was we'd had a question about a road at Kemper. It was named Ratliff Road. I couldn't find it for a while, but we finally did find it. It was the state had it in, but we did not. It had never been issued a county road number, so we have now issued that road a county road number, and everything's good. That was the only reason I'm telling you that is that just kind of helps us go back to straightening out our record keeping.
Do we need to vote on that and signing that road number, Frankie? Is that something that?
No.
Okay.
No.
So that's taken care
Not
of?
as long as the road's been formally in our
Yeah,
system.
and it has been. It's been it just had never been actually put in our record keeping.
That's just housekeeping, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Mr. Little, the next item, I believe, is the approval of the Pike County Road Department Progress Report and the County Commissioner's recommended road maintenance. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right. Is there a motion to approve the Pike County Commissioner's recommended road maintenance for the upcoming 2-week period?
Motion.
We have a motion by Commissioner Robertson. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second by Commissioner Booth. Is there any questions or discussions or any other roads that need to be added or projects that need to be added to this? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson?
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett?
Yes.
Commissioner Booth?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes. Mr. Little, does that conclude your business, sir?
Hey, Judge, I got something I want to brag on Fabian about here.
Not too much.
Okay.
Go ahead, go ahead.
I just wanted to brag what a job you've done working along with the foremans on these other lots, on the 6 lots, and getting the road lots turned around in the right direction with them.
I appreciate that. I really do. We're trying, and I think we have improved, and I think we're doing a pretty good job.
Well, patience is a big word,
It is.
and a lot of people don't understand that.
Right.
I want to.
I second that.
Thank you, Ronnie.
I want to say one thing, and something I wanted you to touch on, is when we came in, we found that the county's road, the records that show what roads have been adopted into were inadequate and incorrect.
Yeah.
And then the records that are maintained by the state and the ad district are also not consistent with the county's records. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And the county was given 2 years to correct all these problems.
Exactly, yes.
And
that's going to be a monumental task.
And I don't think everybody understands that, how big of a problem this is. And some information you passed to me, I wanted you to pass to the commissioners. The first 40,
Well, actually, now it's up in the 80s. My secretary she's went through 80-some roads, her and I, and we've not found one yet that has been in total compliance. There's something wrong with every road that we've hit so far. Either in the length, or they're showing it and we're not showing it, or something, but there's been something wrong with every road.
so just for the public, the first 80-plus roads that we've tried to check
Yes,
have either had incorrect distances recorded,
yes.
or the records that we have are not
Match.
consistent. So are we going to have to go back to all the ordinances where these roads were adopted in?
That is a possibility. Well, actually, we will, and I'm gonna work our clerk pretty hard. But then also I'll end up having to run all these roads also to check the mileage. To check to make sure everything is accurate.
And we found problems with the road system where we would show that 1.5 miles was taken in when they were paving 2 miles and those kind of things.
Yes, Commissioner Booth and I found that problem, early on in one of his roads. That is correct. Like we would be keeping a 1.7 miles and on our records, we only had 1.2 miles or something,
Well, my question is, how do you propose with the manpower we have that we're going to get these records straightened out in 2 years?
Well, it's just going to be a lot of hard work, but also I'd propose you all putting a foreman underneath me, and while he would be basically helping me do these bigger projects to free up these crews to do their own preventive maintenance stuff, but then in the downtime, he would also be freed up to help me on these roads also, help me run these roads.
You're going to have the winter months where, you're not going to be doing a lot of construction, and I would hope that we could make some substantial progress towards straightening the records out in that period of time.
Yeah, I hope so.
So, the members of the court have any questions or comments on this?
Just one thing, Judge. We have the railroad is replacing some bridges down on River Road, and we had some calls on it. I spoke to Judge Hickman about it. And got some information together, give it to Fabian. He's talked to the contractor today, right?
Yes, I have.
And he's got some information together, and whatever they tear up or do damage to the road and all, they've agreed to come in and fill out a form with us and sign an agreement that they'll be responsible for that road down on River Road.
Yeah, I spoke to him today. I spoke to him personally, and he assured me this is a pretty large company. He assured me that any damage that he done that they would be liable for, they would correct. But then I told him, you know, he needed to come in. So he's going to come in Friday morning, and we're going to basically do the same form that we use with Blue Flame Energy, so that they'll be liable for any damages.
Well, we're going to move this forward as much as we can as far as trying to get this system, the record keeping straightened out. That's really just something that's not acceptable. 'Cause
Well, and also I agree, because, you know, a lot of our funding is based off of our records. A lot of our road funding comes from our records. So if we're inadequate, we could be actually losing some money.
the $2.4 million that we received in county road aid money was a big chunk of the county's road budget, and that's state money we received. But one of the problems that we've had is the downturn in the coal severance tax, money that would otherwise be used for transportation needs. That money's no longer there, and in the budget that we passed in 2018, when I was still in the Senate, removed the constraints on how the LGEAF money could be spent. Was it 30% previously, Frankie, that had to be spent on county roads?
It was up to 30% maximum that could be.
But, you know, the severance tax is not a viable source of helping fix the budget issues. And we're going to have to really be efficient. We need to get these records straightened out so we're not losing money.
Exactly.
And then I think the commissioners are in agreement with me that we're going to have to really, really be aggressive about asking for help in Frankfurt.
I agree.
You have any other business coming before the court?
I do not.
Safe travel, sir.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Hey, Fabian, one thing there on that the blue hole there. I know they got a bunch of whales down in there. Could you, when you're with them, could you talk to them about that road where people can get in and out of there?
Sure will. Yes, I will.
Okay.
I will.
Representative Angie Hatton, would you please come up and have a seat? And I had a conversation with her today, and this is going to dovetail right into why I asked her to be here tonight. Welcome. Just for the purpose of the record, would you please tell us who you are? We know that, but in case the folks watching at home may live in a part of the county that you've not, that you don't represent, at least they'll know who you are and what part of the county you represent. And we have asked you to come and talk about the legislative session and your plans, and we make this opportunity available to all the legislators, and we hope to do this with all the members of the Pike County delegation. So welcome, and you have the floor.
Thanks so much, Judge Jones. And I just came from Frankfurt today, and I can tell you you're missed up there. But Frankfurt's loss is Pike County's gain.
I'm not sure who misses me in Frankfurt, but
Well, there are people who miss you for sure, and I'm one of them up there. So, yeah, I had an A&R committee meeting today, and we had a presentation from the Kentucky Coal County Coalition. So, county judge executives from lots of coal counties came up today and made a presentation to the A&R committee, which is the committee that does the budget for the state, and I was appointed to that this year. So hopefully that's going to be a help to Pike County and to Letcher County that I've been placed on the A&R committee. And so the Coal County Coalition came and talked to us today about the needs of the coal counties in light of the coal severance tax cuts. At its highest point, the coal counties would split $289 million, and it's down to $65 million. And I don't have to tell you all what a huge cut that has been to our budgets. And so the county judges who came today did a really good job of expressing to the committee members from all over the state exactly how hard that has been on our counties. And they listed all the different things that we use the coal severance tax money for, that we aren't able to use it for anymore because it's gone, and how we can't just raise property taxes here because people can't afford it, and we have a hard time collecting property tax as it is. And they were pleading for help, and even brought up the idea again of returning 100% of coal severance tax back to the counties instead of the 50% that we get now. And I think that's going to be discussed in the legislative session, and I may even be pre-filing a bill to ask for that. But they did a really good job of presenting coal county issues today in A&R. For those who don't know, I represent Letcher County and 17 precincts in Pike County. I've got Dorton and downtown Pikeville and all the way out in Zebulon, and just kind of a serpent-shaped district that goes throughout the county. But I've been serving my second term as legislator, state representative for that area, and very proud to represent the 94th district, and doing my best to make sure that everything that I find out about that Pike County needs and that Letcher County needs, that I'm on top of it. Judge Jones and I are going to meet to discuss the road priorities. I'm meeting with the chair of the Transportation Cabinet next week, and we are going to go over the 6-year road plan and make sure that your priorities are in there. I've talked to the county governments and city governments that I recommend, just to make sure that exactly what's in the 6-year budget is exactly what you need. So Judge Jones and I will be doing that in the next couple of days. We've talked some already, but so any road priorities that you've got, now would be the time to make sure I know about them.
And I don't know if I'm not sure that I have a copy of the 6-year road plan here. I do, I may have a copy in my, I think I do
emailed
have
you one, if you don't.
I think I do have one, but I'll be happy to give a copy of that to the members of the court. And, but one of the big issues, and we have a gentleman, Ermal Bevins here, who's I've known Ermal for many years, but Ermal's issues are not dissimilar from what a lot of the complaints that we hear. County roads that were paved many years ago, and there's no money to pave them now. And if you look at a county with what we believe to be about 1,200 plus miles of county roads, and you're only able to pave, 6, 8, maybe 10 miles a year, what we've tried to do this year, we didn't have a bad winter, so some of the money we had appropriated for salt we're going to spend on paving. But the simple fact of the matter is, this is a large county with declining coal service tax reserves, or coal service tax receipts, and we have coal reserves that may or may not ever be mined. And with the funding structure for county governments, our hands are tied on what we can do, but something is going to have to be done at the state level on the funding of transportation projects, because it's, before I left the legislature, we put a lot of money in the budget to improve 194 and 632 from Johns Creek into Phelps, and the money's not there because of the falling gas prices hit the average wholesale price and affected the gas tax. So we really do need to look at how we're funding our roads to make sure that these rural counties are not being left out. Lexington, Louisville seem to be taking pretty well care. They take care of themselves. Northern Kentucky, even Bowling Green, the interstates are taking care of, the parkways. But our rural and secondary roads are really, really in need of money for repair and maintenance.
Yeah, I agree with you, Judge, and that's one of the things I want to bring up when I talk to the Chair of Transportation next week, is that we don't have the ability to raise the kind of local funds through local taxes that lots of these other counties, like up in northern Kentucky and Louisville and Lexington, can do. So we have to do a more equitable funding method for our transportation budget, and to take into account that the more run down our roads are, the less we're going to be able to attract economic development, and that hurts the whole state.
Well, and you're absolutely right that it's sort of a fulfilling prophecy that, if you don't have the money to invest in infrastructure, you can't bring new businesses in, you can't try to create jobs, you can't even stop the population loss. And, the more people we lose, the less, the smaller our tax base becomes, the harder it is to fund even essential services. What other issues do you foresee as being on the horizon during the session?
Well, one thing that we've been focusing a whole lot that affects Pike County is the Trails Authority. And I know probably a lot of y'all have heard, but the local people who are already riding the four-wheeler trails are in the process of mapping them and using GPS. And then that way we can let the Trails Authority know what trails we already have. And then we can link those eventually into the Spearhead Trail from Virginia and the Hatfield-McCoy Trail from West Virginia. And Pike County's the natural spot. There's 3 different places we can hook into West Virginia. I went over and toured the areas around Man, West Virginia, where there was basically no economic development. Now it's booming. I mean, there are so many businesses that sprang up around that. People who just had, abandoned strip job land in their families. And one family had just built a primitive campground up there because they were near where the trail went through. Now they have a restaurant, bathhouse, ATV rentals, several RV hookups. They built, I think, 20 cabins, and the license plates that I saw just at those cabins were from Pennsylvania, Alabama. They've had all 50 states there. They've even had people from Alaska come and take advantage because we have these beautiful mountains that other places don't have, and they'll travel here to come and ride. And the trail system is going to be a really big boon to us locally here, and we're working really hard to get that going. I co-sponsored the legislation 2 sessions in a row, and I know you supported it as well when you were there as Senator, Judge Jones, and look for some public meetings about that and a whole lot more information to come. But that's really starting to take off, and I'm excited about it.
One of the issues I wanted to ask, and I think we've got some commissioners who probably like to talk or at least mention the campground idea. This court has taken a very active role in trying to put this, implement a trail system. It was talked about the entire time I was in the legislature. Not really a lot of activity at the local level. Part of that was because of the lack of state legislation, but also there's been no state funding. One thing, if we're able to do this, it's going to be done with limited resources, whereas if you look at the Hatfield-McCoy Trail, it was funded by the state of West Virginia. And, if we can put something together along those lines without having to use our limited coal service tax reserves that we have in our LGEDF fund, then we will have accomplished something that's that very few other places could do.
That's right, and we are asking for a substantial amount from the state budget this year. West Virginia they've had theirs in place, I think, going on 10 years, and they have gotten state funding a little less each year as they become more self-sustaining, and they're looking toward being fully self-sustaining in the next, I think they said 4 years or so. So we're going to be asking the state for the money. We have, I think, 31 counties now altogether, but there's nine primary counties, and Pike is one of them, that will initially have the trails. And so with that state money, it should be, I don't know how much we will get, but we're going to get some, and that will be the impetus that really gets it off the ground.
I know Commissioner Robertson, you want to talk about the campground concept that you had.
I think Jason knows more about the camping facilities than I do. I'm just wanting, Angie, I think we're going to try to tweak that recreational bill that's already in TAC in Frankfurt, law that we can, I think it's got boat and.
It's the hunting bill.
The hunting bill and the boat, and I don't know how it all works.
Well, every one of you's got my cell phone number, and just call me and we'll talk about it anytime, and I'll help if it helps Pike County.
We've got about 21 acres. Is that what it is, Jimmy, over on Tug Fork? Roughly 21 acres of land over there that belongs to the county. And with the trail system already in West Virginia, they're already looking for places to stay. And so if we can use that property to get this thing funded a little bit too, it's going to help out quite a bit too, if we can put some campgrounds over there.
That county land?
Yes.
And that would help with the kayaking on the river, fishing. It wouldn't just necessarily be the trails, but anybody can camp there that wants recreation,
And I guarantee there are some grants that would cover things like that, so.
Yeah.
There's some, I think the city water sewer all runs right along the road with it too. So some of the big the big dollar investing's already close to it.
Well, that sounds like something I'd love to help out with.
So we'll be down there aggravating you here shortly.
Sure. Come on down.
Thank you.
Sure. And I'll answer any other questions you guys have, or I'll let you get back on with your meeting.
I have one question. How did the meeting in front of the A&R committee go with the Cole County officials? Floyd County Judge Robbie Williams and I went down to the last meeting, and where we had a court meeting tonight. I couldn't go. I was afraid I wouldn't be able to get back because those meetings are all-day meetings sometimes. So how was the message from the Cole County officials received, particularly by the chairman of the Senate A&R committee?
He asked some good questions and didn't throw any roadblocks up. Senator McDaniel appeared to be listening, and all the other members were seemed to be sinking into them just how dire the situation is for us down here, with the number of jobs that we've lost, with unmined minerals tax rates being cut back, with the coal severance, with the fact that so many of our people have moved away. And in my comments after they spoke, I talked about how even though lots of parts of the state have seen a rebound in their economy, that really hasn't happened here, that if it shows that we have lower unemployment, a lot of that is because people have moved away to find employment. It's not because employment's been created here, and that we don't have the ability to raise property taxes, and we're actually even losing, citizens, and that our property values have lowered. But so, I mean, it looked to me, Judge, like it was really sinking in and people were understanding. I thought they did a good job presenting today.
And this county has weathered the storm better than a lot of counties. I mean, there's a lot of counties that don't have the resources or infrastructure that we've had. And even with the problems, it's obvious from speaking with other Cole County judge executives and other magistrates and commissioners that a lot of these counties are at risk for not being able to provide even basic services unless the way in which we fund Cole counties is revisited by the General Assembly.
And I will do my best as a member of the A&R committee to call attention to that every day.
Well, you're always welcome, and I have the email that's got the list of the projects in your area. I will share that, because as you know, the commissioners represent the entire county, and I'll just run through those basically real quick if I can read them. Letcher County, US 119, improve US 119 from north. Let's see, I'm not sure
That leads over into Pike County when Letcher County folks are trying to get over here to get to Hibachi, so.
I got you. I was trying to figure out from north to I'm trying to Brass Drive, then Letcher County, US 119, improve US 119 from Kentucky 2034 Cougar Drive to Brass Drive. I'm not sure where Brass Drive is located.
That's in Letcher County. The
Okay.
Cougar Drive is near the high school there.
Then Pike County, US 460, improve safety and reduce congestion at the US 460 Kentucky 1460 intersection. And it says design right-of-way utility and construction funding. And a new project which was mitigate or eliminate rock fall hazards and improve roadway on Town Mountain Road from Kentucky 1460 US 119, which is a desperately needed project. So we will get with you, and I need to see a full copy of it. I need to get with Representative Harris as well, so that way we can, Representative Blanton, and then Representative Ashley Tackett-Lafferty. I'd like to get together with all of you before the session, so that way I can come to Frankfurt, sit down, and make sure that the projects for these gentlemen that they're interested in are at least in the road plan.
I'd be real happy to set that up with the other representatives.
All right.
And our Senator Wheeler.
Well, and Philip too.
Yeah.
Thank you very much
Thanks
for
for
being here.
having me. You guys call me anytime you need me.
Thank you,
And
Representative.
if you'll wait around for the break, these gentlemen may want to speak to you for just a second. I'm going to move through this pretty quick because, so we can take a break. Would the court indulge me for just a couple minutes before we do move on to the agenda? I want to address the audit for the Mountain Water District. Would there be any objection to that if I did that right now? We received the 2018 audit. It's the audit for the Mountain Water District. And that audit, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to do that after the break if you don't care. Mr. Stacy, do you have the copy that I gave you the other day? We'll do that at the next one because we'll do that. The next item that we're going to address is the acknowledged receipt of the Pike County Clerk's audit for the year ended December 31st, 2018. Mr. Stacy, have you had an opportunity to review that? And were there any substantial findings that you felt needed to be corrected or that should be addressed? All right. Is there a motion to acknowledge receipt of the Pike County Clerk's audit for the year ended December 31st, 2018?
Motion.
That was a tie. We have a motion by Commissioner Booth. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second by Commissioner Tackett. Is there any question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson?
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett?
Yes.
Commissioner Booth?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes. And the next one is the discussion of potential approval of a contract for maintenance for the Pike County Courthouse and Pike County Courthouse Annex. And this is the contract whereby the county employs Mr. Terry Rogers, I believe. And is there a motion to renew this contract with Mr. Rogers?
Motion.
We have a motion by Commissioner Tackett. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second by Commissioner Robertson. Is there any question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson?
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett?
Yes.
Commissioner Booth?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes. The next item is to acknowledge receipt of the Pike County Extension Board's 2019 tax rates. That is in the members' packet. I do not believe that this was changed. Is that correct? Same rates as last year. We have that table here if any of the members need to look at it. Is there a motion to acknowledge receipt of the Pike County Extension Board's 2019 tax rates?
Motion.
We have a motion by Commissioner Booth. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second by Commissioner Robertson. Is there any other question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson?
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett? Yes. Commissioner Booth?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes. The next item is acknowledge receipt of the Pike County Schools 2019 tax rates. These tax rates were kept the same as last year. And is there a motion to acknowledge receipt of the Pike County Schools 2019 tax rates?
Motion.
We have a motion by Commissioner Tackett. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second by Commissioner Booth. Is there any other question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson?
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett?
Yes.
Commissioner Booth?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes. The next one is to approve setting the Pike County's 2019 tax rates and forest fire protection rate. It would be my motion that we keep the tax rates at the current rate as previously established by the fiscal court. The current rates for the fiscal court's 18 cents per 100 on real property, 25 cents per 100 on personal, 14 cents per 100 on vehicles, and 2 cents per 100 for the fire protection fee, and that's been the same for many years.
Awesome. I'll second it.
So we have a motion.
You motion.
Oh, okay, my motion. We have a second by Commissioner Booth. I'm just making sure our numbers are right here. Mr. Stacy, you have looked at this if we do not take the compensating rate, which has been calculated to be on real property 19.1 cents per hundred, what would be the net loss to the county?
I think the net loss is going to be around $250,000 if we don't take the compensating rate in net revenue, in property tax revenue.
Given the economic circumstances surrounding the county, I think it is the court's position, or I think the majority of the court would agree that folks can't absorb any more tax increases. Long-term, though, the court may have to revisit this if our financial position changes in the next 2 to 3 years. Would that be a fair statement?
Yes, Judge.
All right. Is there any other question or discussion? Any comments from the court? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson,
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett,
Yes.
Commissioner Booth,
Yes.
Judge Jones.
Yes. Mr. Stacy, next item is treasurer's business.
I have no business.
All right.
I did, it's not actually treasurer's business, but I did present everybody with a copy of the auction results on the sales of the trucks. If anybody's got any questions on it, other than that.
And that is in the members' packet showing
The 6 dump trucks, we paid $141,922 for each. They sold for a range of anywhere from $140,000 to $145,000. The 3 transfer trucks, we paid $154,760 each. They sold from anywhere from $147,000 to $157,000. So I think sales price to what we paid for the dump trucks, we broke even on. I think we lost a little bit on the transfer trucks. The number at the bottom is the total carrying cost of that includes the 7% commission to the auction company, the charges for tires, cleaning the trucks up, the interest on the loan, the total cost of the trucks altogether.
The county had paid a substantial amount down on these trucks to start with, correct?
Right. The payoff on the loan for these 10 trucks is going to be on the bill list for this month. I just got that today. It's going to be $1.17 million. The auction check was 1.336. I think that's right, 1.336 million. But the difference in that is the $260-some thousand we had paid 20% down on the trucks last year. So
one of the things that that we're going to have to look at, if the actual cost to operate these 10 trucks was $170,000 over the year.
yes.
On average, $17,000 a truck. If you bought trucks and you financed them, you're going to have a payment on each truck. What is your opinion? Is this, from a financial standpoint, a better way to go than?
I think so, because even if you bought trucks, you're going to still have interest on that loan. So, that factors into the carrying cost. But, like I said, every year you get a brand new truck under factory warranty. That's been the biggest selling point of the program. You're not buying tires, you're not buying brakes or parts for the trucks. Whereas if you bought a truck after about 3, 4, 5 years, you're going to start putting motors, transmissions, major parts on those. I think it's personally been one of the better programs for the county. We've been involved in it about, I think, close to about 12 years now.
Do any members of the court have any questions or comments on this?
I just think, Judge, for 9 trucks, and we operate them for that year.
It should be 10 trucks.
10 trucks.
10 trucks.
10 trucks, 10?
Right.
3 roll-offs and 7
Yeah,
dump trucks.
10 trucks then. That's pretty good, what we got back out of them and what cost us for a year on those 10 trucks. I don't think you can beat that.
I defer to you on the trucks.
Well, that's just my opinion. That's done real well on selling them, I think the county's come out real well on that.
Any other questions? I overlooked Mr. Fannin. Mr. Fannin, you have anything for bids to award, sir?
We had a bid opening on September 19, 2019, on bid number 32-2019, 4 illegal dump cleanups, various locations countywide. We received 1 bid from Larry Young from Varney, Kentucky. Site 1, Wolf Branch, his bid was $12,000. Site 2, John Moore Branch, his bid was $13,000. Site 3, Brushy Road, his bid was $2,500. Site 4, Brushy Road number 2, his bid was $8,500 for a total bid price of $36,000. However, on Site 2, John Moore Branch, his bid exceeded the available funding. According to KRS Statute 45A.375, deals with negotiations after competitive sealed bidding when all bids exceed available funds. And on Section 3 of that statute, it says, where after competitive sealed bidding, it is determined in writing that there are only one responsive and responsible bidder, a non-competitive negotiation award may be made with such bidder. I've had a discussion with Mr. Young about this issue, and he has agreed to do site number 2 project for the available funding. Therefore, it's my recommendation that we award the bid on all 4 dump sites to Larry Young for an amended total bid price of $35,386.63.
Is there a motion to award bid number 32-2019 for 4 illegal dump cleanups to Mr. Larry Young at Varney, Kentucky for the price of $35,386.63?
Motion.
We have a motion by Commissioner Tackett. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second by Commissioner Booth. Any other question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson?
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett?
Yes.
Commissioner Booth?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes. And I just want to point out that it's shameful that we even have to go through hiring contractors to clean up illegal dumps when we have a very good solid waste system and a landfill. And the effort that people would take to go out and dump illegally, they could have hauled it to the landfill at Ford Mountain. They could have set it out beside the road and solid waste would have picked it up. So, and we're going to continue our enforcement efforts against these people who are doing these illegal dumps. Thank you, sir. Anything else coming forward? Thank you, sir. The next item is executive session. Mr. King, would you please instruct the court on the appropriate Kentucky revised statutes necessary for entering into executive session?
We'll need a motion and vote as authorized by KRS 61810, subsection C to discuss pending litigation and F to discuss specific personnel matters.
Is there a motion to enter into executive session?
Motion.
We have a motion by Commissioner Robertson. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second by Commissioner Booth. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson?
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett?
Yes.
Commissioner Booth?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes, and we shall be in recess for purpose of executive session, and we'll return at call of the chair. Is there a motion to exit from executive session?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Tackett. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second by Commissioner Robertson. Any debate? Just joking. a long day. That was a joke. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson?
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett?
Yes.
Commissioner Booth?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes. Mr. Mayor, would you please present my recommendations and my motion regarding personnel decisions and approval of salaries?
Yes, Judge. Gentlemen, the following items are up for approval. It is approval to hire William Church as a Packer driver at Solid Waste Area 1 at a 3H rate of pay, effective 9/30/19. Approval to move Patrick Daniels from a mini Packer driver at Solid Waste Area 5 to a tire changer at the maintenance garage at a 4H rate of pay plus longevity, effective 10/14/19. Approval to move David Mullins from the Solid Waste Office to Solid Waste Area 5 as a Packer driver at the same rate of pay. Approval to accept Stephen Blackburn's resignation effective 9/6/19. Approval to move Thomas Thacker to foreman of the special road crew at a 4A rate of pay plus longevity. Approval to accept Bradley McCoy's resignation effective 10/4/19. Approval to hire Griffin Absher as a mini Packer driver at Solid Waste Area 5 at a 3H rate of pay. Approval to hire Paul Smith as a float driver in the Solid Waste Office at a 3H rate of pay. Approval to hire Eric Stell as a mini Packer driver at Solid Waste Area 1 at a 3H rate of pay effective 10/7/19. Approval to hire Steve Dameron as interim foreman at Solid Waste Area 5 at a 4A rate of pay plus longevity. That is all, gentlemen.
Gentlemen, those are my recommendations and my motion regarding personnel decisions and approval of salaries. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second by Commissioner Tackett. Any question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson?
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett?
Yes.
Commissioner Booth?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes. Brings us to the Pike County Department Supervisor's comments. JJ, you have anything tonight, sir?
First of all, everybody needs to get with their foremans and whatever and get what we've got to auction. It needs to be over to the maintenance garage. And I talked to Ronnie some about some road graders. We've got 5 of those. 2 of them is in poor shape, and they're not used hardly any. And we need to look about selling a couple of those in auction.
I think JJ thinks we could probably get by with a couple of graders, right? Instead of, we've got some over there that needs to be repaired. It costs a whole lot to do it.
We don't have that many gravel roads to grade,
Yeah.
so it would make sense. How many total graders are there?
We've got 5 in the system.
Do we need to keep 2 or 1?
Well,
Is there one at the landfill?
no.
Keep 2 and then,
They've got one of Phelps's up there, I'm not sure.
Phelps has got a really good grader, and I'd say the other best one's over at Belfry.
Yeah, Danny's got a pretty good grader, and then the old camouflage grader that,
Is that you're thinking about the camouflage grader?
It's good. We've got 2 good ones.
okay, well, let's put the other 3 in the,
because we've got 2 over there that's gonna have quite a bit of work done to them, and they're,
just, let's discuss that. We can discuss that after the meeting. Anything else, JJ?
and senior citizens, if they have any vehicles in their department, we need those.
You can get with Diane back there and she can discuss that with you.
And Terry Rogers brought up to me about any equipment or whatever at the golf course that they weren't gonna use, so, you know.
We can get with Paul over that, because whatever's down there that's just sitting there.
And William has got got us some harnesses and stuff for the top of the trucks where we get up and work on them, and I used them this week, and they worked out good, and we started putting the grease hoses and stuff on top of the trucks, run the hoses down the trucks to where that they won't have to be up there working on those.
That's good. All right. Anything else, sir?
That should be about all I have, but we need to get all of our stuff in line.
Well, you can get with Reggie this week, and if there's any department that's not giving you their list, you get with Judge Hickman, and you and him can light a fire under him and get that done.
Okay.
Thank you. Keep up the good work.
You've got a list too, also what we've got at all these lots, don't you, JJ?
Yeah.
So you'll know if what's not being coming there and being serviced or anything, if just sitting on the lot broke down, we need to get it in there. Okay.
JJ, we're ordering that platform ladder also.
Okay.
Okay. So you'll have that in addition.
All right. Thank you.
JJ, one quick question. Is the safety program working pretty well over there?
Yeah, we're, about every time William comes up, he suggests something that we need to do that we haven't been doing, and doing pretty good.
All right. We appreciate it. Thank you all. Mr. Fannin, you have anything? Ms. Thacker? Ms. Goff? Everything all right at the animal shelter? Sharon, you have anything? Ms. Vanover? Mr. Ratliff? Ms. Thacker? Larry? Mr. Morley, anything? Mr. Kaiser? Mr. Williamson? Mr. Spears? We'll do it next meeting, morning meeting. It's late. We'll do that. Mr. Tackett? Any members of the press have anything? Next is the Pike County Assistant County Attorney's comments. Mr. King.
Yes.
We have no public comment. And Mr. Hickman, anything?
Yes, Judge. The only thing I have tonight is we have finished the Pike County landfill expansion notice of intent to apply, which has to go to the state. So that's our next step, and it'll be ready to mail to Frankfurt tomorrow.
Thank you, sir. Would you make sure a copy of that is in my office, please? I almost forgot, we've got Jimmy Dale in the back. Mr. Sanders, you have anything? And I'm not going to say anything. It's late. Brother Fitch, you got anything back there? You all can debate the points of an adjournment back there together. Dale, welcome. Appreciate you all being here too. That brings us to the county commissioners' comments, and we'll start with District 1, Commissioner Ronnie Robertson.
I just want to thank the good employees we got in this county. They're working their tails off trying to make everything better for Pike County. Appreciate that. I'm glad to see Diane back. That's about all I got, Judge.
Thank you, sir. District 2, Commissioner Jason Tackett.
I just want to thank everybody that works for the county. What a great job they're doing. I know we get a lot of talked about a lot on social media and everywhere else, and that's part of life. I take it with a grain of salt and go on. We're trying to do the best we can with what we got to do it with. Roads, garbage, that's number one priorities, and people just got to be patient. That money just goes so far. It's just like a empty bank account. You just spend so much and then it's out. But I just thank y'all for what all y'all do for us. That's about all, Judge.
Thank you, sir. And that brings us to Commissioner Brian Booth, District 3.
Yeah, Judge, I want to thank the employees also. I want to thank Larry. I tell you, the landfill looks really good over there. Larry, he starved all the crows and the buzzards off. I believe they've all moved where he's kept it so clean over there. They ain't near as many as they used to be. Also, we've had Jim Webb and Danny Ram doing a lot of paving for us on their flex money. I think they've done a real good job with their paving. And on September the 22nd, I went up to Bob Scott's property and for the Randall McCoy service up there at the well and his side up there, and it was really enjoyable. I look forward to doing that next year. I think Paul took a bunch of chairs up there for that, and I look forward to maybe attending all three of those next years. I learned a lot, just explained how the cabin's set and a lot there. It was really enjoyable. So that's about all I have tonight, Judge.
Thank you, sir. And that brings the meeting to the Judge Executive's comments. Earlier, I was going to comment about the audits from the Mountain Water District. I've had an opportunity to look at a couple of the audits. First and foremost, the one thing that sort of struck me at the 2018 audit is the fact that revenues continued to decline for Mountain Water District, and there was approximately a 1% loss of customers, resulting in a loss of revenue of approximately $155,000. And, you know, there's been a lot of controversy in the county over when the county had contract management of the district. The district had a board. They had one employee, sort of a liaison, and then the contract management group, UMG. And all the employees of Mountain Water were UMG employees, and they participated in a 401k type retirement system. When the board voted to take back over the day-to-day operations from Utility Management Group, they made a decision to go from a 401k system to put the employees back into the county employee retirement system. And that was done at a time when the condition of the county employee retirement system was getting worse year by year. The unfunded liability was continuing to increase, and a lot of your quasi-governmental entities were wanting out of the state pension systems. The problem is, from my review of the information that we received from an open records request, at the time that the decision was made to put Utility Management Group's former employees back into the pension system, there were about 11 employees that had time in the state retirement system, thereabouts, and another 40 plus that did not. Well, the net effect of that is now the water district, with a 32% line loss rate conservatively estimated, and that's an issue that I do believe that the press is looking into on how they calculate that. The interesting thing that I took from the audit, it says for the year that ended December 21st, 2018, the district recognized pension expenses of $1,736,795. $1,736,795. Now, I don't think that that's out of pocket, but looking at the wages paid in 2018, which is on page 8 of the audit, and just multiplying that by 24.06, which will be the pension contribution for the 1920 fiscal year, it's nearly, it's over $550,000. So there is a legitimate question as to why the Mountain Water Board voted to put these employees back into a pension system at a time when the Mountain Water District had inadequate cash reserves to address their line loss, to address the problems with replacing ailing and aging infrastructure. And now, because they're back into the system, the cost to get those employees back out of the system would be millions and millions of dollars. I'm not sure, I've had 2 CPAs review this audit. Neither CPA can explain to me accurately the methodology that was used, but I will say that if you just look at the 2017, again, this is on page 8 of the audit, be happy to make a copy available to anyone. The retirement expenses went from $239,476 in 2017 to $1.95 million in 2018. Now, I don't think that's actual out of pocket, I suspect that that is a contingent liability. I'm not sure why that would be carried on as an operating expense. Really don't know how these numbers came about or the methodology. But if you also look at this audit, on page 17, it does specifically state that for the year ended December 31st, 2018, the district recognizes pension expenses of $1.736 million for non-hazardous. In addition, they lay out some assumptions on page 20 that talks about Mountain Water's share of the net pension liability, and that ranges at a very optimistic $3.897 million to $6.265 million. So $3.897 million to $6.265 million. In reality, had they made a decision to keep these employees in a 401k, which is what they were all in except for the superintendent of Mountain Water, this district would not have been looking at between $4 and $6 million in liabilities. Those monies could have been used to prop up the infrastructure, to repair the infrastructure, and replace these lines that are resulting in a 32% line loss. So as we move forward in our oversight role of Mountain Water, it would be my hope that this court would appoint people who had experience in utilities, business, who could get into these numbers and try. This is going to be a long-term problem for this district. When the district's losing revenue and losing customers, and keep in mind, the legislation that was passed, House Bill 362 in the 2018 session, allows for that rate to go up 12% per year. Mr. Stacy was thinking it was capped at 30%. I don't recall that there was a cap in it. There may be. But if it's 24.06% this year, and that is capped at 12% per year growth up to, I think, 2028, it will clearly, if it continues at that pace, exceed 30%. So every dollar that Mountain Water pays in payroll right now, 24.06 cents will be paid to the pension system. And when you're looking at roughly 2.4 million in payroll, that is going to be a substantial amount of money that's going to be paid out annually. And it will certainly impair the ability of the district to address some of the pressing infrastructure needs. Hopefully, when Mr. Dennison, the new member, who also is a CPA, gets an opportunity to dig into this, I think he's had 2 meetings. Hopefully, he will be able to shed some light on these numbers. I've asked Mr. Stacy to look at them. I think, Frank, it's fair to say that you couldn't get some of these numbers to add up, and it may be the methodology, but would you please address that?
I actually started looking at it yesterday, and between prior period adjustments, their change in accounting standards, and deferred inflows and outflows, to get a solid number of what you could actually say is their benefit, their pension liability for that year is kind of murky. To get a solid number that you could tie out. So I'll continue to look at it and hopefully understand it a little bit, digest it a little bit better. And
well, you're a CPA, Mr. Dennison. Our first appointment, this court's first appointment, is a CPA, and that's 2 folks that have looked at it with who are certified public accounts and can't give me a cogent answer on this. So I think it merits a more in-depth look. Hopefully, at some point, I can have you sit down with Mr. Dennison, and we can get. Maybe we could even have this accountant come in and explain what he's talking about. But it is alarming when you see the pension or the retirement expenses go from $239,000 to $1,000 to $1.95 million. Like I said, that is not actual out-of-pocket cost, from what I understand. but I still don't understand that methodology.
Right.
Is that a fair statement?
Yes.
So that concludes my remarks. I want to thank everyone, the members of staff who came in and had birthday cake with me tonight. Ms. Thacker, thank you. Sort of a milestone birthday that I have coming up this weekend. I was hoping the cake said 35, but it didn't. I sort of picked up on that. There was a 5 in it, it just didn't have a 3 with it. So, but anyway, thank you all very much. And we will have another meeting 2 weeks from tonight. And hopefully everyone will be able to be there. We have a lot more work to do. And again, I didn't want to belabor this point about Mountain Water. This is not Pick on Mountain Water month. But there are a lot of issues that we're going to have to address as we move forward. I do think that the public has a right to know the truth about what's been done here and about the ramifications of some of the decisions that have been made. So with that being said, I would like to ask Fitch Reed if he would say the benediction before we adjourn.
Oh, great eternal God, I thank you, Lord, for this day that we've had, and as this meeting is coming to a close, Lord, I ask you, these elected officials here, Lord, that through this term, Lord, that you let them be in one mind and one accord to make the right decisions for this county, Father. And Lord, as the darkness falls tonight and we're blessed to wake up in the morning, Lord, we'll give you all the honor and glory for it all. In your blessed name I pray, amen.
Amen. Thank you, sir. Is there a motion for adjournment?
Motion.
We have a motion by Commissioner Robertson. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second by Commissioner Booth. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson?
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett?
Yes.
Commissioner Booth?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
We are adjourned. Yes, we are adjourned.